Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and jump on to the next section. We are on PD test, strand test, color, and relaxer. The color is going to be a retouch. We're going to start off with what's called a PD test. PD stands for predisposition test. On this test, what we're doing is we're going to actually be testing the skin to make sure that this person is not allergic to what is called an aniline derivative, which is a chemical that's inside of the color tint itself and that a lot of people tend to be allergic to. So we're going to be doing a PD test on the skin to make sure that the person is not allergic to it. Then we're also going to be doing what is called a strand test. The strand test, we're going to be using a small section, a strand of hair that's going to be located right here on this part over here. And the reason we do a strand test is to make sure that the chemical is going to do what we want it to do on the hair. If we're doing a strand test for bleach, we want to make sure that the hair is going to be able to pick it up. Sometimes the people might have done a previous color and we want to test the strand to make sure that it's going to be able to withhold whatever procedure we're going to be working with. So we're going to do a PD test first, then we're going to do a strand test. From there, we're going to jump into a color retouch, and we're going to be doing a 1-inch retouch. From that one, we're going to jump into the relaxer part. We're going to go ahead and take it step by step. We're going to start off with the PD test first, strand test. We're going to go ahead and stop. Then we'll show you guys how to do the 1-inch retouch, and then we'll talk a little bit about the relaxer after. Okay, guys, so we're going to go ahead and start off with the next section. Always start off by sanitizing your hands. We are going to be working with chemicals, so you want to make sure you wear gloves at all times. You are going to need one new pair of gloves for every procedure that you're working with. We're going to go ahead and take off the cotton balls and the application stick. On this, for this procedure, we're going to be using a Q-tip to be able to do the application. Again, remember to make sure that you don't put your hands inside the container, inside the bag, and close everything back once you're done with it. We're going to be doing a cleansing lotion first. We're going to clean out the area that we're going to be putting the color on. We're going to make sure we do this on top of the trash can to make sure that we don't throw anything away. And we're going to apply it right behind the ear. Clean out that whole area. Then we're going to grab our simulated tint, which is going to be color. We're going to be using our Q-tip to be able to get a dab of color. We're going to get a little bit of color only. And then we're going to dab the skin. We're not going to smash it in there. We're not going to rub it around. We're literally just going to dab it and we're going to leave it alone. Make sure you guys close your color tint when you're not using it. Then we're going to jump over to the strand test. Right now the color is processing. We're going to check to see if the person is going to become allergic. Again, we're only doing a strand of hair, so you don't need a big section. Clip everything back up that you're not going to be using. We're going to get our brush and we're going to do, again, we're going to do the simulated tint. We're going to apply on the midsection of the hair. You want to do about 1/2 inch to 1 inch away from the scalp, and then 1 inch away from the ends. We're going to apply it to both sides evenly. Right now, again, we're testing the hair to make sure that it does what we want it to do with the new chemical that we're putting on. Close all your containers back again. Then we're going to grab a napkin. We're going to grab our water bottle. We're going to pick up the strand of hair, put it on top of the napkin, and then we're going to spray it with water. The reason we spray it with water is because if you have color on there, remember water is a universal solvent which will stop any chemical action. So we're going to spray water to remove the color and stop any chemical action. Then at the end, you're going to remove your gloves, leaving all the chemical inside. Sanitize your hands, and that will conclude our first section. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and jump on to the next section, which is going to be our relaxer. Always start off by sanitizing your hands. We're going to go ahead and grab a little piece of paper that we're going to put on the top to be able to make sure that we don't put any relaxer or any lotions or anything that you're putting on areas of the hair that you're not trying to saturate with. So that kind of protects the other areas. We're going to put our protective cream around the scalp area. And then remember, we are working with a very strong chemical, so we are going to be doing a scalp analysis on this one as well. After we put our protective cream, we're going to go ahead and do a scalp analysis as well. Close all your containers back again. We're gonna do the protective cream around the scalp. And then we're gonna do a quick scalp analysis. Again, we are working with a very strong chemical. For this one right here, you wanna make sure that the client doesn't have any irritation, any abrasions, any open wounds, anything like that, because this chemical is so strong that if it touches anything that's irritated, it will burn the scalp really fast. We're gonna be using our simulator relaxer. You always wanna double check that you're using the correct chemical. And we're gonna start off by applying from the top to the bottom. We're gonna be doing the relaxer. You have to do a 1/4 inch away from the scalp. You never touch the scalp with this product. Remember, if you apply it on the scalp, there is a big chance that you're gonna burn the scalp. So you wanna make sure that you leave a 1/4 inch, which will be kind of the size of a pencil from the scalp. And then at the ends, you wanna make sure you leave 1 inch before the ends. So you're gonna be doing the mid shaft of the hair, 1/4 inch away from the scalp, 1 inch away from the ends. And you're gonna do section by section, try to do small partings to make sure that we get the saturation correct on both sides. You're gonna apply it on the top part and in the bottom part. Saturation is very important, so you wanna make sure you get a good saturation on the hair. Do it on both sides, and as you're putting it on the top, you wanna make sure that you divide it. Every section that you're doing, every parting, one to one side, and then the next parting, overlap it to the other side. You wanna keep it as separated as possible. It is very important because we actually have to come back for this part to be able to do a second part to it. So we're gonna go ahead and keep applying it, and we're gonna go work all the way down the hair itself. Okay, so when you guys are done, you want to start bringing your sections. That's what we told you guys, to try to keep everything as separated as possible. You want to start bringing your sections down one by one, because we're going to be doing what is called the smoothie technique. So we're going to bring down each section, and again, you want to keep your sections separated. Okay, so once you bring all your sections down, now this part is called the smoothie technique. We're gonna be doing a smoothie with the fingers. You're pretty much, what you're doing is you're flat ironing the hair with the chemical inside of it. Right now the chemical is so strong that it broke down the entire structures of the hair, and it's letting you place it into a new shape. So by doing this, what we're doing is we're actually removing the curl from the hair itself. We're gonna be doing the smoothie techniques with your fingers. You're gonna do each section about maybe 3 to 4 times, and then you're gonna place it back on the top. And you wanna make sure that you start on the top section first, because the bottom part was the last part that you applied the chemical on, which means that the top part has been processing for a lot longer time. So you always wanna make sure you bring your sections back down and you restart the smoothie technique on the top sections, because that's where it's been processing a lot more longer. Once you are done with the smoothie technique and you work your way all the way to the bottom, you want to again grab all your sections and bring them back down. And again, you want to kind of keep everything separated. So right now, as we're bringing the sections back, you see how we're keeping everything nicely separated. We want to bring that all the way back down so that we can jump onto the next section. Okay, so once you are done with that whole section, the next thing is to remove the paper napkin that you're using. Go ahead and clean off any excess chemical that you might have put around the hair. Go ahead and throw that away. And once you are completely done with your chemical, then you will remove your gloves, and you're gonna go ahead and discard those, sanitize your hands, and we're gonna jump into the next section. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and jump into our next section. Always start off by hand sanitizing your hands. We're gonna go ahead and get our application stick. We're gonna be doing a 1-inch retouch. We're gonna do our protective cream. Go ahead and apply it on your wrist. Again, make sure you don't contaminate the area that's inside. Apply it around the scalp area, on the hairline. We're gonna also use a napkin to be able to protect the other areas that we're not gonna be working on. Same thing that we did with the relaxer, same thing that we're doing right here for the color retouch. Don't forget, we're working with chemical still. Even if it's just color, it's still considered to be a chemical. So you want to protect your hands. Now we're going to be working with our simulated tint, which is color. Go ahead and grab your application brush, and we're going to go ahead and start off. We're going to be doing a 1-inch retouch. We are going to be touching the scalp. So this one right here, you do want to make sure you get close to the scalp. One of the first things you want to do is called the outline. So we're going to outline the area that we're going to be working with. Again, we're doing an outline, a 1-inch retouch outline. And here we are touching the scalp area because you're actually doing a retouch. So that means that we're getting all the new hair that has grown out, and you want to get it from the scalp itself. So go around the perimeter of the section that you're working with. We are outlining the area. Then you're going to go ahead and start off your sections. Same thing, you want to do 1/4-inch sections. You don't want to do some huge partings. Stay with 1/4-inch partings. We're going to apply 1 inch from the scalp to 1 inch away. Small partings, front and back. And again, saturation is very important, so make sure that you saturate the hair really good. You're going to keep applying this all the way to the bottom of the section. 1 inch retouch from the scalp, 1 inch away. Small partings. Okay, so once you have completed the whole section and you've sectioned out the whole part all the way from the top to the bottom, and we've done a 1 inch retouch, then we're going to do the last part. Is called breaking the line of demarcation. And on this one, what we're doing is we're going to be combing through the line where we stop the color, and we're kind of blending it in to the rest of the hair. And this is breaking the line of demarcation to make sure that the color that you applied blends in to the rest of the hair that she has already, the client should already have. So this prevents any color lines from forming. So it's called breaking the line of demarcation. Then we're going to go ahead and clean up everything again. We're going to remove the napkin on the top. We're going to remove everything that's on our station. We're going to clean up any excess color or any product that we might have put around. We're going to get rid of everything that's on our station. So we want to make sure that we discard everything. We put our color away. We put everything where it belongs. And at the end, once we are completely done, then we're going to go ahead and sanitize our hand and we remove our gloves. Remember to not remove your gloves until you are completely done getting rid of everything that might have chemical.